Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from not the Command Score studio once again. Welcome to the show. At some point in the near future, I promise I will be back. But yeah, for now, different rooms, a car, a truck, an SUV, whatever I'm recording in. Apologies if the sound is a little bit off. Regardless, something that is not off is this, well, thing that you might not have known is out there that you need to know about because it is a massive resource for you. Let's jump into it. Commander Spell Book. Now, you may have heard of this one before. It is the search engine for EDH combos, and I've actually highlighted it on a previous episode. But on this episode, I want to talk about a feature that is very good, and I always go to during, well, mostly after spoiler season, I should say. So spoiler season has ended. Even before the set comes out, Duskmourn hasn't come out yet. It's good to get an idea on this feature because let's go down to it. Duskmourn Combos. In the bottom right here, you will see what featured combos are on this site based on brand new cards. And it is so important to be aware of those combos, not just for, like if you build combos in your deck, great. Now you know what other kinds of combos you can utilize from the new set. But also, if you don't build combos and you play against, players that you don't know, and they might have combos in their decks, or, some of your friends play combos, yeah, it's good to know what kinds of cards might combo. So let's jump into this feature and talk about, well, some combos from the set. So once you click into there, it's very simple. Just featured combos. Here you go. And it's got it sorted by, I think it's based on like the number of combos in different decks, but I could be wrong because, it's so early, since spoiler season came out and these cards came out. The number of cards that are actually in decks, is obviously low right now, but is increasing day by day by day. That being said, you can just kind of scroll through and you see like just how many combos are showing up. Sometimes, the same card a couple of times, in different ways that it can combo, but it's good to be aware of those ways, number one. Number two, again, if you are a player that does utilize combos, you're like, oh wait, this can slot right into this deck that already has this card, or this deck, yeah, I thought this deck would be great with it, and look, it does combo with that too. Actually, make sure you check out, in an episode where I talked about essentially like the feature of, putting your deck list into this site, and it shows you what combos you already have in your deck as well. This site is amazing for different kinds of features. And let's jump into some combos from this site, from this featured combo list that you need to be aware of from Duskmourn. Okay, so the first one that I'm going to highlight is actually not the one that is first because I'm going to highlight the last because I've highlighted it a few times on different episodes where I was like, yeah, that combo's in this way. Yeah. All right, anyway, Screaming Nemesis Blazing Sunstone is one that I have not brought up. Screaming Nemesis is a 3/3 spirit with haste that costs 3 mana in red. Whenever it's dealt damage, deals that much damage to any other target. If a player is dealt damage this way, they can't gain life for the rest of the game. It's a brutally amazing card. Blazing Sunsteel, well, what matters on this one is it's an equipment that says whenever equipped creature is dealt damage, deals that much damage to any target. So basically, you need to have both on the battlefield, and this needs to be attached to Screaming Nemesis. You have to have a way to give Screaming Nemesis indestructible. You have to have a way to deal damage to Screaming Nemesis. I love just seeing the prerequisites so you can say, okay, what do I need to get this combo started? What are the then steps to the combo, and how does this work? First up, you give it indestructible. If needed, then deal damage to it. So yeah, basically you, again, use Darksteel Plate, etc., etc. Blazing Sunsteel and Screaming Nemesis trigger. You resolve Screaming Nemesis trigger, dealing 1 damage to any target, whatever you want. Then you resolve the Blazing Sunsteel trigger, dealing 1 damage to Screaming Nemesis. You repeat from step 2. Basically, hey, all you need to do is just keep pinging this again and again and again and again and again, and it keeps pinging other things, including your opponents. Yeah, they can't gain life anymore, but that really doesn't matter because they're going to be getting pinged infinitely to death. I mean, okay, not infinitely, but as much as you need to. So again, the results, infinite damage. So the way this site breaks it down, I love. Again, it shows prerequisites, what you need to have to start, the steps and how it works, and then the results and yeah, basically, how do you win with this combo? It also shows you like how much this costs as well in general, and there is a little warning that card that hasn't been released yet. So sure, but yeah, your friends might be okay if you proxy it or whatnot beforehand. But yeah, once you get the card, it'll be in there as well, obviously. Next up, we've got Shard of the Nightbringer and Enduring Tenacity. Shard of the Nightbringer says, when it enters the battlefield, if you cast it, target opponent loses half their life rounded up. You gain life lost this way. Enduring Tenacity, whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. So basically, Sanguine Bond. Here's the thing. Lots of things combo with that, including this one. Prerequisites, Enduring Tenacity on the battlefield, Shard of the Nightbringer's in your hand, and you've got 8 mana available to cast the Shard of the Nightbringer. Steps, cast it. Triggers, cause the opponent lose half their life total, rounded up. You gain equal to life lost this way. Enduring Tenacity triggers, then they lose the rest of their life, essentially. The opponent loses the game due to having 0 or less life. It's pretty straightforward again. Basically, whatever Sanguine Bond combos with, Enduring Tenacity basically does, and then probably then some, because it's also an enchantment creature, so there's probably some things with that too. That being said, the results are target opponent loses the game, infinite life loss for target opponent. I mean, it's, I guess not, it is technically infinite, right? But like, it's like, whatever the number is, they're going to lose that number. Metadata in 160 decks. It's nice to be able to see that as well, like how many decks is it in so far? So you also can kind of get a feel of like, okay, will I be seeing this out? I mean, with this one, you definitely will be. This combo, you definitely will be seeing out in public because yeah, Sanguine Bond combos with a lot of things, and that if you see it, you might be getting comboed out. So take it out, please. Well, take this one out twice, because if it dies, it comes back. Moving on, we've got Curator Beasty, Lesser Manicore, and then, well, Grinding Station. That's a cool card. Curator Beasty, a 6/6 with reach that says, colors creature you control enter with 2 additional counters on them. And yeah, sure, enter attack, manifest dread, don't worry about that. Lesser Manticore, basically what we care about here is that this has persist. Grinding Station, tap, sacrifice an artifact, target player, mills 3, artifact comes into play, untap this. Prerequisites, all on the battlefield. Lesser Manticore does not have a minus counter on it yet, basically, so it'll come back with that persist. These steps: activate Grinding Station by tapping it and sacrificing the Lesser Manticore. When it dies, its persist ability triggers, bringing it back from the graveyard to the battlefield with a counter on it due to Curator Beasty. Again, this is a clarification that I needed when I came back to Magic. Yeah, +1/+1 counters and -1/-1 counters cancel each other out these days, so it comes back basically again with 1 counter on it, 1 +1 counter on it, nothing from the -1/-1 counters. When it enters, Grinding Station triggers, untapping Grinding Station, rinse and repeat. Resolve it, ability from step 1, causing target player to mill 3 cards. Repeat it again and again and again and again and again. And then the results are infinite ETB, infinite LTB, infinite sacrifice triggers, infinite death triggers, infinite mill, infinite self-mill. I mean, the one that probably wins you the game is that infinite mill right there. But yeah, if you have any other kind of like, oh, I have a Blood Arson play too, yeah, you just win from that too. So yeah, a combo that can definitely be very deadly. Curator Beasty, definitely keep that in mind if you are comboing any way with Persist. Next up, we've got Glacial Chasm, Wayward Sawtooth, Walk-in Closet, Forgotten Cellar. Now, this is a fun one. Glacial Chasm is a cumulative upkeep to life. Comes into play, sacrifice a land. Creature control can attack for all damage to be dealt to you. Wayward Sawtooth, play additional land on each of your turns, basically. I mean, there's other things too, but that's what we care about. And Walk-in Closet is what we care about, not Forgotten Cellar. You may play land cards from your graveyard. Prerequisites: all permanents are on the battlefield. Walk-in Closet is unlocked. Again, that's what we care about. Steps: we are going to play Glacial Chasm for your hand or your graveyard. When it enters, its second ability triggers, causing you to sacrifice another land you control. You play any land from your graveyard. Game of your next upkeep, Glacial Chasm's upkeep ability triggers, allowing you to choose not to pay the cost and sacrifice it instead. Repeat the process, and this results in prevent all damage to be dealt to you. Because basically, you're staying at the exact same amount of lands, right? And also it says, hey, you know what? No damage is coming my way because I've got this really weird land in play that says no. And instead of having to pay life to keep it in play, I'm just going to keep sacrificing it and replaying it. So yeah, this is a very spicy combo, one that players might not expect, and one that's pretty easy to add into your deck if you are in green as it is, because you might just throw in a Wayward Sawtooth or a card like that. In Walk-in Closet, yet another good Crucible Words type card as well. So if you just throw in Glacial Chasm and you're like, oh, by the way, unless you can stop this, cool, I'm just never going to take any damage ever again. Next up, we've got Paragan Drake, Shrieking Drake, and Mirror Room / Fractured Realm. Yeah, Fractured Realm is what we care about. Paragan Drake, ETB, untap 5 lands. Shrieking Drake, ETB, bounce a creature back to your hand. Fractured Realm, which is the more expensive version of the Room. If a triggered ability of a permanent controls, it triggers twice, basically. Prerequisites, or an additional time, I should say. Prerequisites, it's on the battlefield. Yeah, there you go. Paragan Drake and Shrieking Drake in your hand. Fractured Realm is unlocked. You control lands that can produce at least 2 and a blue and 4 and a blue. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be casting Paragan Drake, too many Drakes, paying 4 and a blue, enters the battlefield, triggers twice, you resolve it, untapping 5 lands. Activate those lands, tapping them, adding at least 2 and a blue. You, of course, will. Resolve it again, untapping 5 lands, do that again, cast Paragan Drake by paying a blue, enters the battlefield, it triggers twice, bouncing itself and Paragan Drake back to your hand, repeat, produce at least 1 additional mana in step 4. You will. This count produces infinite mana. So the results are infinite LTB, infinite ETB, infinite storm count, infinite mana lands you control can produce. Yeah, there's quite a few ways to now combo with Fractured Realm. Utilizing already broken things like Paragon Drake, Great Will, those kinds of cards is huge. And Intriguing Drake is quite the cool card. So yeah, if you see Paragon Drake ever, it is a combo piece for a deck. And if you see Fractured Realm, be on the lookout for combos as well. Next up, we've got Yodora, Grave Gardner, Hauntwood Shrieker, and Phyrexian Altar. I think I actually may have mentioned Yodora when I was talking about Hauntwood Shrieker during spoiler season. Let's jump into it, though. Yodora says, whenever another non-token creature control dies, you may turn to the battlefield face down under its control if it's a forest. It's a forest land, not if it's a forest land. Hauntwood Shrieker, don't worry about the Manifest Red. Pay 1 in a green, return target face down permanent. Reveal target face down permanent. It's a creature card you may turn to face up. There you go. Phyrexian Altar, sacrifice creature at 1 mana of any color. Prerequisites all around the battlefield. You control at least 1 other non-token creature. Steps. Activate the altar by sacrificing another non-token creature, adding a single mana. When it dies, Yodora triggers, returning the creature card from your grid to the battlefield as a forest land. Activate the creature by tapping it, adding a green. Activate Hauntwood Shrieker by paying 1 in a green, turning the creature face up. Repeat. So basically, I mean, you just keep like, okay, now you're forced, now you're not a forest, now you're forced, now you're not a forest, now you're forced, now you're not a forest. The results, infinite LTB, infinite sacrifice triggers, infinite death triggers, infinite landfall triggers, not infinite mana with this one. That being said, yeah, there are ways to generate infinite mana with it too if you have ways for your lands to tap for additional mana or whatnot, so there you go. But plenty of ways to win from there. 25 decks right now, but this is a really spicy combo. Have fun with it. Even if you aren't using Phyrexian Altar, I mean, just having Hauntwood Shrieker plus Yodora means your creatures die and you can bring them right back essentially for just 2 mana every single time. That's pretty brutal as well. Next up, now one that does have Phyrexian Altar and gives you infinite mana. Here we go. Unstoppable Slasher Solemnity Phyrexian Altar. Yeah, Unstoppable Slasher is pretty crazy. Basically, we can skip the whole first part, even though it's really cool. When it dies, if it had no counters on it, return to the battlefield, tap out its own control with 2 stun counters on it. But Solemnity says, hey, how about that? No. Counters can't be put on artifacts, creatures, enchantments, or lands, and I already read Phyrexian Altar too, so you know what that does. Prerequisites, all permanents on the battlefield. Unstoppable Slasher does not have a counter on it already. And these steps are very simple. Activate Phyrexian Altar by sacrificing the Unstoppable Slasher, add 1 mana of any color. When it dies, its second ability triggers. It comes back from the grave or the battlefield with 0 stun counters on it because Solemnity says, no stun counters. And then you repeat this again and again and again. The results are infinite LTB, infinite ETB, infinite colored mana, infinite sacrifice triggers, infinite death triggers. Lots of fun things for you. Yeah, this one is one where, again, it's in 1 deck apparently right now. It's going to be in more at some point. But yes, if you do see a Unstoppable Slasher, you need to be aware of any kind of combos that can work with it. If you see a Solemnity, it's going to be comboing with something. And if you see Phyrexian Altar, run for the hills because that is a good card. Next up, Enchanted Evening Ghostly Dancer is a combo that is, well, you gotta be careful with this one if you're the one who's using it, because you might not realize exactly what this does. All permanents are enchantments that show their types is Enchanted Evening. Ghostly Dancers, whenever enchantment you control enters and whenever you fully unlock a room, create a 3/1 white spirit controlling with flying. The prerequisites are Enchanted Evening is on the battlefield, Ghostly Dancers is in hand, and you've got 5 mana available, and here you go. You cast it. When it enters the battlefield, as an enchantment, it's going to be an enchantment because of the Enchanted Evening. Its first and second abilities trigger. You resolve the second trigger, creating a 3/1 spirit creature token. When that spirit enters, it's also an enchantment because of Enchanted Evening. Its second ability triggers, making another 3/1 spirit. You repeat step 4. And that's what it does. You repeat step 4. You cannot stop this because it is not a May. So the notes. This combo creates a mandatory infinite loop in step 4 that causes the game to end in a draw if it's not interacted with. It's highly recommended only begin the combo if you have a way to break it. Basically, if you have a sacrifice outlet in play that you can activate, a free one or one that you've got mana for, or if you've got a card in your hand that can like destroy or exile your Ghostly Dancers, great. If you don't, and if your opponents can't interact with it, you're just infinitely making 3/1 spirits for eternity, and you are not doing anything else because you can't stop that combo because there is no mate in it. It's mandatory. So the results, infinite ETB, infinite creature tokens, draw the game. So unless you have something like an Impact Tremors in play, or again, you have a way to stop it, the game just draws and no one wins. It doesn't matter that you have infinite tokens, you can't stop the combo, so keep that in mind. And I'm glad, again, this is a great resource because it lays out exactly how all these steps work, exactly what you need, but it also tells you, hey, this is a combo that like you can't stop. So if you don't have a way to stop it and you're trying to win the game with it, yeah, make sure you plan ahead. Next up, though, Hellkite Charger and Shriekwood Devourer. Hellkite Charger, a 5/5 dragon flying in haste attacks. You may pay 7 mana in total. If you do, untap all attacking creatures. And after this phase, the initial combat phase, Shriekwood Devourer. Whenever you attack with one or more creatures, untap X lands or X the grace power among those creatures. This is a very simple and straightforward combo. You need them both on the battlefield, and you control lands that can tap for at least 7 mana until 5 red, which you will. You definitely will. You control a creature with power 7 or greater that doesn't have summoning sickness, which could be Shriekwood Devourer, and cannot be blocked and killed by an opponent. So sure, if you have a way to give it evasion, or if an opponent doesn't have any blockers, great. These steps. Declare any creature with power 7 or greater that can be blocked and killed by an opponent within Hellkite Charger if it isn't the aforementioned creature as attackers. Shriekwood Devourer and Hellkite Charger both trigger. You resolve the trigger untapping 7 lands. Holding priority, you activate these 7 lands by tapping them, adding that mana. You resolve its trigger, causing you to pay the 7. Untap all attacking creatures you control, causing you to get initial combat phase with this one. Repeat. Very simple and straightforward. Infinite ETB, infinite combat phases, infinite mana you control can produce, infinite untap of lands you control. Yeah, this is one where, again, if I see Shriekwood Devourer, that's just already a good amount of value. If I see Hellkite Charger, I am terrified because it's probably a combo. If I see them together, yeah, that's a combo. Make sure you block the Shriekwood Devourer and take it out, please. Or take out Hellkite Charger. Just stop it. Stop it from happening. Next up, Razorkin Needlehead. What a cool metal name. And Peer into the Abyss. Here we go. Razorkin Needlehead says, well, importantly, whenever an opponent draws a card, it deals 1 damage to them. Peer of the Abyss says, target player draws cards equal to half the number of cards in their library. Target player, I should say. And loses half their life round up each time. Very simple, very effective prerequisites. The Needlehead is on the battlefield. Peer into the Abyss is in your hand, and you've got mana to cast the Peer into the Abyss. Steps. You cast it. There you go. Cause the opponent to draw cards equal to half their library, causing them to lose half their life. Razorkin Needle triggers for each card drawn this way. Resolve the first trigger, dealing 1 damage to the opponent. If the opponent has 0 less life, the opponent loses the game due to having 0 less life. You repeat step 3 until the opponent loses the game. Basically, again, they're drawing half their library and losing half their life, and now they are taking that same amount of damage. So the results: near infinite damage to target opponent, near infinite draws for target opponent, near infinite card draw for target opponent, near infinite life loss for target opponent. They basically just lose because they drew half their library, lost half their life, then lost the other half of their life. Next up, really quick on this one, because I had pointed this one out like the second that this one spoiled and I talked about it. The Jolly Balloon Man. A 1/4 Human Clown, pay 1, tap, create tokens, copy of another target creature control, except say 1/1 balloon. Don't care about that. You sacrifice it, who cares? Village Bell Ringer, that's what we care about. Enters the battlefield, untap all creatures you control. Here's the prerequisites. Both are on the battlefield. You control at least one other creature that can tap, produce at least 1 mana. So a mana dork, a simple singular mana dork. That's all you need. All of a sudden, you activate the creature by tapping it, adding a single mana. Again, that does say like a colorless, but like, or not colorless, it says a generic mana. It could be whatever you want. Activate the Jolly Balloon Man by paying 1 and tapping it, creating a token copy of the Village Bell Ringer. It's a 1/1 balloon, and that doesn't matter. It has the ETB, the Village Bell Ringer token, balloon, enters the battlefield, it triggers, untapping all creatures you control, and you repeat. So again, you have that 1 mana dork, tapping again and again and again. You've got an infinite amount of Village Bell Ringers. Let's see the result. Infinite LTB, infinite ETB, infinite sacrifice triggers, infinite death triggers, infinite creature tokens with haste, infinite untapped creature control, infinite mana creature control can produce. So yeah, if you do have a mana dork that can tap for either more than 1 or multiple mana dorks, congratulations, you also have infinite mana. So yeah, this Jolly Balloon Man, 565 decks already have this combo, of course. Jolly Balloon Man, if you see it across the table from you and you're playing against it, it's the commander, it's gonna be comboing probably at some point. So be on the lookout for something like this. And finally, speaking of a commander that does combo that you need to be on the lookout for, Marvin Murderous Mimic. Yeah, be careful with this one. Pilipala Palladium Mirror. Marvin basically has all activated abilities of creatures you control because that don't have the same name as it. Don't worry about that. I'm not going to be worrying about that. Pilipala, pay 2, untap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Palladium Mirror, tap for 2. Prerequisites, all have to be on the battlefield. Marvin does not have Summoning Sickness. It doesn't matter. Pilipala and Palladium Mirror have Summoning Sickness. And in fact, yeah, again, like if they do, they aren't helping with the combo anyways. Steps: activate Marvin using Palladium Mirror's ability by tapping it, adding 2 mana. You activate Marvin using Pili Pal's ability by paying 2 and untapping it, add 1 of any color. You rinse and repeat. So basically, very simple, infinite colored mana. This is another one that's already in a good amount of decks already, 122 decks. Yeah, if you see a Marvin deck, look out for these cards because, well, these combo with Marvin. There's also a lot of other ways to combo with Marvin too. I did an entire episode on a turn 1 win with Marvin. Make sure you check that out too. It's a pretty crazy card. And especially if you see Marvin like in the 99 of a deck, that's definitely in there too combo as well. Crazy good combos. Again, an amazing website. Make sure you check out Commander Spellbook. It is a great one. It is a great resource for you. A lot of great different ways to utilize it. Again, find my combos. I talked about that earlier on an early episode where you can like basically just paste in your list of, cards for your deck, and it shows you what combos are already in your deck. And again, when a new set comes out, go to the combos sheet and see what kind of combos are on there. Apologies, like if these aren't showing up properly because I zoomed in essentially. So yeah, anyways, a really cool resource. Make sure you're checking it out. And again, if you are interested in these combos, make sure you check out that card list link in the description below.
This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.